All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-thru. Happy Positive Wednesday to my third bell. Let's hear it, third bell. Okay, okay, Max. Bonsai, Adam says. Love it. All right, so I think the most important part of this is do not get intimidated by this new notation. You guys already hate this. You already hate that. Okay? That just means a function of x. What the heck does that mean? It means we have like this little imaginary machine. Okay, I'll just actually use this f of x from above. Okay? And we put in a number for x. And the machine takes the number, and what does it do to it? It adds 2 to it, and then it spits it out. That's what a function does. So, just so you know, if you have f of x is x plus 2, that is the same thing as y equals x plus 2. Doesn't that seem so much easier? But you just have to know that's all it's talking about. Well, now we have 2 different functions in here. So you can think of this like f plus g of x being, after it goes into that function, it gets sent right back into another function, okay, which takes that result and does something like that, and then that spits out the result. So it's like a chain of functions connected to each other. Okay? So that's what's going on in this chapter. And so now it gets a little different. So f plus g of x is the same thing as f of x plus g of x. So you just, literally, you just do this. It's x plus 2 plus radical x minus 1. 2 of those things are like terms. What are like terms there? 2 and negative 1. So the answer is x plus radical x plus 2 minus 1 is 1. So far, so good? Okay? I'll alternate colors here. Number 6. F times g of x is the same thing as f of x times g of x. So this one's a little harder. X plus 2 times radical x minus 1. Now we have to FOIL. X times radical x is just x radical x. You could call it x to the 3 halves, but just leave it like that if you want. Outside, minus 1x. Inside, plus 2 radical x, last, minus 2. Are any of those like terms? Well, radical x and radical x could be added, but that's 2 plus x radical x. I don't think that's any more simple, so I'm just going to leave it just like that. I would encourage you to get them right and not worry too much about simplification. All right, number 7. F divided by g of x. Well, that's the same thing as f of x divided by g of x. So that is x plus 2 divided by radical x minus 1. And for now, just leave it like that. I don't even care about rationalizing the denominator. I want to get through this chapter. I want you to have a basic understanding of radical functions. So just leave it. Okay? That's it. That's the answer. And then therefore number 8 is also pretty quick. It's g of x divided by f of x. And that is radical x minus 1 divided by x plus 2. And that's your answer. So hopefully that eases a little stress. G?
I know you said we could just leave it, but would you be able to like divide 2 by 1?
No, no. Like 3 plus 4 over 1 plus 4. You can't just do that. You got to add first. Okay? Good question. So anytime you're in algebra and you're like, can I do this? Put it in a number and see if you can do it. Okay? All right. Now, these are a little more complicated. So this, you work inside out. So it's f of 4 on the inside, and you want g of that. Okay? Just don't worry about it. Work inside out. So what is f of 4? Well, when we have a function of x, we take out the x and we put in a 4. So f of 4 is 4 minus 2. Do you see where I got that from? I put in 4 for x right there. Right? And then, so what is f of 4? What is this? F of 4 is 2. Okay? So look, basically what did you just do? You put in a 4. Okay? And what did it shoot out? It shot out a 2. Well, now your 2 is being shot out into another function machine. And this function machine squares it. So you put in a 4. It shot out a 2. What's 2 squared? So the answer is 4. So let me walk you through that. All right. So right here we had g of f of 4. What did we decide f of 4 was again? 2. So take out the f of 4, and now we just want g of 2. How do we find g of 2? We put 2 in here, and the answer is 4. Okay? Does that help? Number 10. F of g of negative 1 is the same thing as that. So we just work inside out. So what is g of negative 1? How do we find that? We take out x. We put in negative 1 here. What is negative 1 squared? Good. So g of negative 1 is equal to positive 1. So now f of g of 1 is just f of 1. What's f of 1? It's 1 minus 2. So it's negative 1. Okay? And finally, number 11. So we're going to do f of negative 3 first, and then we're going to do g of whatever we get for that. What is f of negative 3? Negative 5. Thank you, Ashley. Okay? So now we want g of whatever this was. G of negative 5. Negative 5 squared. Positive 25. Thank you. I hope that helps with this a little bit. Boom!